Watch in this episode.
Greetings, this is breaking news on the Creative Society channel.
В этом выпуске смотрите.
The activity of the Cumbre Vieja volcano on the Spanish island of La Palma does not subside. On October 24th, the most powerful earthquake in the last month and a half occurred with a magnitude of 4.9. As a result, the collapse of the main cone of the volcano continued. In addition, the Spanish news portal laSexta reported on the deformation of the island's surface. It increased from 14 to 30 centimeters in just a day, according to the GPS navigator, which is closest to the volcano. This indicates the enormous pressure of magma on the Earth's surface. What's next about what else happened to Spain and other European countries?
Hello, this is breaking news reporter from Moscow. Between October 21 and 22, 2021, strong winds and rains hit Russia. Dozens of trees, metal structures were falling, power lines were torn, and some cars were damaged in St. Petersburg. Water levels in St. Petersburg's rivers rose sharply. The wind was so strong that the bridges over the Bolshaya Neva and the Neva River were not raised. Meanwhile, dozens of trees were felled by strong winds in the Kaliningrad region. As a result, houses, cars, and power lines were damaged. On October 22, a strong hurricane struck Moscow. The city infrastructure and a number of cars were damaged in several areas. On October 22-23, heavy rains struck northeastern Spain, causing severe flooding. The coasts of provinces of Valencia, Alicante and Almeria were severely affected. In Catalonia, up to 200 liters of rain per square meter fell in some areas. Rushing torrents of water turned the streets of the cities into waterfalls. Homes, basements and street infrastructure were flooded. Railway and road traffic was stopped in some areas. More than 10,000 people were left without electricity. On October 24, heavy rains engulfed the southern part of Italy and caused widespread flooding. Sadly, there were casualties reported. In the provinces of Trapani and Catania on the island of Sicily, huge amounts of rain caused local rivers to overflow their banks. Gushing torrents of water rushed through the streets and washed away cars and people. On October 23, 2021, another powerful eruption of Mount Etna occurred in Italy. A few days before, seismic activity increased in the southeastern crater. The eruption was accompanied by the intense ejections of pyroclastic material and lava fountains. Ash fallout was reported in nearby settlements. At the same time, destructive storms covered the countries of Europe. We will learn more about the consequences of the disaster from the reporters of Breaking News.
Hello, this is reporter of breaking news from Slovakia. On October 20 and 21st, 2021, storm Aurora struck the countries of Western Europe. Unfortunately, casualties, injured and missing people have been reported. On the northern coast of France, the storm came with a maximum wind gusts of 175 km per hour. The most affected regions were Normandy and Brittany. In 12 departments of the country was declared penultimate orange level of weather danger. The situation on the road was complicated by fallen trees, scattered branches, and garbage cans. More than 250,000 homes were left without electricity. In the city, trains were disrupted on some roads. At the same time, a tornado and strong gale force wind struck the city of Eyewitness, UK. The roofs of some houses were turned off, loose objects in yards blew out windows, and dozens of cars were damaged by fallen trees and building debris. The storm came to the territory of Germany from the Baltic Sea. The gale force winds felled trees, knocked out windows, and blew down the roofs of buildings. Some homes and greenhouses were destroyed. Parked cars were covered with fallen branches. Some areas were left without electricity due to damaged power lines. In the Czech Republic, the bad weather caused the most damage to the western regions. Wind gusts of more than 150 km per hour damaged roofs of houses and felled trees. Road and rail services was disrupted. About 300,000 homes were left without electricity. Storm Aurora also caused significant damage to parts of Belgium, the Netherlands, and Poland. Many trees were fallen, and roofs of houses and buildings were torn off.
The danger of volcanoes lies in their sudden and destructive power. What happens to people when a volcano suddenly starts erupting? What are they going through? An eyewitness from the Democratic Republic of the Congo will tell us about this in the next report.
Hello, my name is Serge McCollum. I live in Goma, a city in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo. A few months ago, our town was hit by a volcanic eruption. It wasn't an easy time to get through. I lost my house and everything in it. It all happened closer to evening, about 6 p.m. The time when people were going home. And I remember it was Saturday. As soon as I got home and was sitting in my room, I heard people screaming and thought there was a fight going on outside. But when I went outside, I noticed a red cloud. I thought, God, what is that? What happened? And people were in complete panic. It was just complete chaos. Personally, I was concerned because I was at home with my younger siblings. And they started screaming, asking me what are we going to do. I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do? I asked them to come down so I could try to think. The lava from the volcano was already in our area, and we could see that it was already flowing, and there was no way out. There was nothing else to do. So we decided to leave and move to avoid the gas attack. We went down into the city. It was a disaster. People were running around. We thought, my God, what are we going to do? We weren't expecting this situation. It was really a big surprise to everybody. And we spent the whole night watching the events unfold and listening to the radio about what was happening. A lot of people died not from the volcano, but in accidents that were caused by people who wanted to get out of town, running all over the place. There were over 20 deaths from accidents, and I saw several of them on the road. I remember there wasn't even room for cars to pass. There were no warnings. It was very unexpected. No one knew about it, not even the volcanologists, because at that time the volcanologists were not working properly. They said they weren't getting paid. The volcano surprised all of us. People never thought about it. They didn't believe there could be any eruption because the volcano was very calm, quiet. In fact, there were no signs. There was no concussion, there was nothing. Really, it was very difficult. There was also gas, methane gas in Lake Kivu, and we had to leave town because at any moment there could have been an explosion in the lake. Every year we have climate change, so it's up to us to come together to find solutions to some of nature's problems and also to preserve it. And that's very important, because if we don't preserve it, it's going to be very difficult to live on this planet.
If you have witnessed climatic anomalies, send your videos to climate@creativesociety.com.
On October 23, an extensive storm system caused heavy rains and flooding in Algeria, North Africa. Casualties and missing people have been reported. In some areas of the city, more than 140 millimeters of precipitation fell within 24 hours, which is more than the 2 months amount. The most affected cities are Algeria, Boumediene, Shleif and Tizi Ouzou. A reporter of breaking news from Nigeria will continue the topic of floods in his country.
On October 22, 2021, in the 4 districts of the city of Abidjan in Côte d'Ivoire, West Africa, torrential rains led to flash floodings and landslides. Unfortunately, there are casualties and a lot of people are reported injured. It is estimated that 106 millimeters of rainwater fell continuously for 12 hours in this territory, and half of this volume were falling in just within half an hour. And this has been the pattern for a month. The increased precipitation which led to the flooding damaged residential buildings as fast-moving water carried on their way objects and cars. Rescue teams have had a busy day evacuating people from damaged buildings. At the night of October 24, heavy rains caused flooding in some regions of Tunisia in North Africa, which casualties reported. It is reported that 170 millimeters of rainwater fell in the province of Bizelta, while some 136 millimeters were recorded within the areas of Ariana, and this equates about a 3-month volume of water in these areas. In the affected territories, right protection groups have also had busy day rescuing people from the disaster.
2021 appeared to be one of the wettest years in the last 88 years for the capital of India, Delhi. In October, about 120 millimeters of precipitation fell on the city, which is more than 4 times higher than the monthly norm.
Record rainfall this month was also recorded in Australia. In Perth, Western Australia, the total monthly precipitation was 119 millimeters, breaking the previous record of 22 years ago. Which next, a report about natural disasters and heavy rainfall on the American continent.
On October 26, a state of emergency was declared in New York, USA, due to a storm and heavy rains. In Brooklyn, buildings were flooded. Many cars were stuck on the roads. Power outages were reported. In some places in the states of New York and Connecticut, a record amount of precipitation was recorded for the day. On October 27th, several tornadoes were recorded in Texas and Louisiana. Unfortunately, there were casualties. The main impact was on the city of Orange, where a natural disaster was declared because of the many destructions. The tornado tore out trees, destroyed homes, and ripped down power lines. Both states experienced power outages. On October 25th, the Mexican states of Guerrero and Michoacán were hit by Storm Rick, which brought torrential rains and strong wind gusts up to 205 km per hour. The hurricane caused flooding and felled many trees. Some buildings had their roofs blown up. Landslides were reported. The storms caused power outages in some areas and cancelled classes in schools. Many families were forced to take shelter in evacuation centers. On October 24th, a strong hurricane also hit the city of Comodoro Rivadavia in Argentina. The wind gusts reached up to 150 km per hour, and in the open area up to 215 km per hour. The strong winds tore down the roofs of buildings and trees. Fortunately, people were not injured.
Residents of California, who only recently experienced the most intensive wildfire season in the history of the state, have been exposed to a new danger. On October 24, a powerful hurricane swept through northern California and triggered flash floods and mudslides. A reporter of breaking news will continue the topic from the scene.
Hello, this is breaking news reporter from the US. On October the 24th, 2021, the state of California, USA, was hit by a major storm. Unfortunately, lives were lost. Heavy rains caused serious flooding. In downtown San Francisco, a record amount of rain fell in just 12 hours, several times the monthly norm. And the city of Sacramento recorded about 140 millimeters of rain, breaking the one-day record for rainfall set 140 years ago. There was flooding in the San Francisco Bay Area. There were reports of street closures in the city of Berkeley and flooding of rivers in Napa and Sonoma counties. Flooding was also reported in the city of Oakland. Heavy rainfall also caused mudslides and landslides. Landslides caused some roads to be blocked, including the closure of State Route 70 in Budd County. High winds tore down trees and damaged homes and power lines. In California, Oregon, and Washington, more than 140,000 homes were left without electricity because of the rampant weather. On October the 26th, after widespread flooding, snowstorms hit California. Many localities in the eastern part of the state were left without electricity. Several highways were blocked.
The consequences of cataclysms caused by cyclical cosmic factors are aggravated by the actions of humankind, which led to the destruction of the planet. To date, 75% of soils have been degraded as a result of human activity. The main sources of soil pollution are industrial enterprises, transport, agriculture, nuclear power, and vast territories of landfills.
It is impossible to produce products that are environmentally safe for human health on polluted soil. According to the UN, every 5 seconds, land with an area equal to 1 football field is eroded. Every year, we lose millions of hectares of fertile land.
Almost half of the topsoil on Earth has been depleted over the past 150 years. Meanwhile, it takes about 1,000 years to form 1 centimeter of the topsoil. Currently, about 40% of the world's population suffers from land degradation, which is more than 3 billion people who are experiencing acute food shortages and hunger.
Today, our world is facing the greatest challenge of civilization. Destructive element. Go get in the skyrocketing, and their power is irreversible.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
People are dying, and cities are being destroyed. Why are we, all people, not coping with it? The official aim of international covenants and agreements is to curb climate change. But why does the climate continue to change at a catastrophic rate? Why is the global media silent about the scale of these threats? What diverts people's attention from these risks, environmental catastrophes, and an increase in CO2 to what environmental consequences has mindless consumerism led? What is the real cause of global climate change? Nothing is more important today than information about how our humanity can survive and save our planet. Now, it's time to tell the truth while we still have a chance to make a difference. December 4th, live broadcast, international online conference, global crisis, time for the truth. 100 languages of simultaneous interpreting. Organized by volunteers from 180 countries. Truth purifies. Truth unites. Truth gives a chance to live. Join us. Global crisis. Time for the truth.
We invite you to take part in the preparation of international online events within the framework of the conference Global Crisis – Time for the Truth, which will take place on December 4, 2021. You can invite and record online interviews with experts from around the world, scientists, experts in the field of climate, ecology and migration, as well as people who have become refugees. For more information, please contact us by email climate@creativesociety.com.
Currently, the suddenness and force of natural disasters is alarming to experts. Science has reached an impasse in forecasting and responding to the challenges of global climate change.
Our task is to have time to unite and build a creative society. This will give us the opportunity to direct all our human potential, all our resources into one goal: to survive.
Many people say, yes, all of us agree, we want to live in the creative society. Please explain, for instance, we have gathered all together as the entire humanity, so what's next? Yes, we have no politicians, we ourselves decide how we should live and what we should do, but how will that affect the climate? You know, I believe this is happening just because in people's heads there is not even the slightest idea of what the creative society is. Well, this is merely my personal opinion. People understand what the consumerist format is, or some other various models such as capitalist or communist. Well, people went through this, they have an experience, but they have no experience of the creative format. In their heads, I emphasize. However, the genetic memory remains that once there were such times and people lived that way. And there are also a few historical mentions that humanity used to be united and everything was fine. There were no wars and no made-up external enemies of any kind. There was one enemy in everyone's head. People fought against him. And they fought quite successfully. Therefore, the creative society had existed for so many millennia. Until one fine moment, when a little bit more than 6,000 years ago, there appeared such a concept as power, hoarding and power. An external enemy emerged. And there appeared what? The division into rulers and slaves. And nothing has changed to this day. This very model had taken root in people's heads. So people do not understand how will we actually live, and what will the creative society give, what will change.
The creative format of society, thanks to the unification of the potential and resources of all mankind, will help to pass the period of large-scale catastrophes on the planet.
It will lead our civilization out of the impasse of self-destruction.
It will ensure the future without wars, conflicts, violence and hunger.
It will provide a decent life for people around the world without fear for the present and future.
It will bring modern society to a new level of development in all spheres of life.
You can learn more about the Creative Society on the website creativesociety.com.
Thank you for being with us today, and see you soon on the Creative Society channel.